Hello. This is the podcast for people who want to give back, get involved, and do more in their community, but maybe aren't sure where to start. I'm Stephanie Dyer, and every week my co-host Courtney Dickey and I dig into the issues shaping how we give, why we give, and what actually makes a difference here in Central Texas. So if you live in Austin and want to give back, you're in the right place. Today, Courtney and I skim the surface of something Americans have a lot of feelings about: distrust in big giving. We've talked about before these philanthropy lists and whether they motivate the ultra wealthy to give back. I still think the answer is yes, but now we're stepping into some of the tension behind it. Because if you scroll through the comment sections, whenever a billionaire makes a massive pledge, the reactions are mixed, to say the least. You may have heard early December, Michael Dell announced a $625 billion commitment through his foundation to fund Trump accounts, which fund accounts for children born from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2028. And their funds are going towards children born in zip codes that make an income below a certain threshold. One Redditor wrote, "This isn't generosity, it's a tax strategy with PR attached." Back in August, Bill Gates made one of the largest donations in history. He announced giving away $51 billion. What is his plan? End world hunger. That doesn't sound bad. This has reshaped the billionaire rankings, knocking him out of the top 5 and elevating his former Microsoft deputy, Steve Ballmer, into 5th place. Gates' net worth fell from $175 billion to $124 billion in early July after Bloomberg adjusted its wealth estimates to reflect this pledge to accelerate charitable donations. He plans to give away nearly all his fortune to the Gates Foundation over the next 20 years, aiming for it to close by 2045. So he sees a need, he's accelerating his giving, and he's committed. One person responded to the news, Bill Gates could give away half his fortune and people would still call it hoarding. And someone else chimed in with what feels like the underlying sentiment: I don't trust motives I can't see. But not everyone is critical. On Facebook, Jonathan Wise says, wow, there's a lot of cynicism on here. What if he also benefits? The point is, he's using his resources to help real people with real need. That's what great wealth is for. He's a role model and I applaud him. Cheryl Plogstra comments on Facebook, "This is a tech billionaire I can get behind. Not seeing much philanthropy from the rest." Farah Ahmad asks, what's the agenda behind it? And some commenters even assume a dark motive. Quote, "It is his investment, not donation. And very soon the world will face the problem of his so-called donation." Okay, so there aren't economists or policy experts on our show. These are just, of course, regular people that I'm regurgitating to back some of the stats Court and I chat about in terms of voicing a distrust that shows up again and again. Big gifts feel complicated. Philanthropy feels opaque. And if I'm honest, which I go into with Court, I don't fully understand all the mechanics either. So if any experts happen to be listening, please come on the show and help us unpack this. After this quick conversation, I sit down with someone who represents the opposite end of the giving spectrum, where donations big and small turn directly into comfort, housing, and stability. I'm joined by Kristin Coulter, Chief Operating Officer at Ronald McDonald House of Central Texas, where they are doing phenomenal things. They provide a true home away from home for families whose children are facing serious illness, something Kristin experienced before she joined the organization. And she shares some exciting news coming in January 2026. So let's dive into why some Americans don't trust big donors and then shift our focus to an organization doing phenomenal work for families facing the unimaginable, a newborn or child suddenly becoming critically ill. Let's get into it and escape into a cause.
Hello.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Stephanie. A very formal hello.
I listen to other podcasts. They always do different introductions, but like the one I like is Dak Shepard's armchair expert.
Yes.
And he's always like, welcome. Wait, let me try it. Welcome. He always does like something like that. My
love
voice
it.
is a little scratchy right now. So,
Amy Poehler's good hang.
what does she start hers with?
Well, her whole podcast is obviously she brings someone on who's famous, but her deal is before she brings that person on, she calls a friend of that celebrity and we'll interview them. And then the friend gives her questions to ask the celebrity.
So this is the podcast.
This is the podcast. That's the whole thing. So she starts it off with like, hi, today we'll be talking about Stephanie Dyer. And I have called Stephanie's friend, Courtney Dickey, in order to get some questions to ask Stephanie. Courtney, are you there? Woo-hoo-hoo. And then it starts her song.
Oh.
So that's how it always starts.
Okay, that's the formula.
That's the formula. And then Smartless, welcome to a new Smartless. Like they have banter. And then somebody says, welcome to an all new Smartless.
Yeah, they have like a huge team behind them to help them
Of course they do.
perfect and make the whole beginning entertaining.
Yeah. But if you want to figure out something fun, we can have a Hallmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to figure. Okay, think about that.
Okay, I will.
All right. We are on a topic that matters about distrust of big giving. Okay. So we've talked about billionaires. We've talked about, does the philanthropy list of these billionaires, does it matter? Yada,
Do
yada.
they even know they're giving?
Do they even know? Do they know what they're giving?
Is it their people? Yeah.
We've also talked about distrust of nonprofits. We've talked about distrust of government.
Yes.
Which I fall more in that category.
Yes. They're less transparent.
Less transparent. And then, but I think distrust, and specifically, I think why people have distrust in these philanthropy lists is they have distrust in big giving, because philanthropy itself, sometimes there's control exerted or influence.
Yeah.
And okay, just real
Courtney
quick.
Dickey, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is big giving?
So big giving, I know, it's just
Let's define.
large
large
really
amounts.
large amounts of dollars.
Okay.
So anytime someone says Mackenzie Scott, but I think it could be unknown names too. Like anytime there's
large dollar amounts.
large dollar amounts.
Yeah.
The question is, will they be exerting too much influence or control? I think that's what builds the distrust around this.
So what comes with the big giving?
Yes.
The big gift.
A survey by an independent sector, 57% of Americans say they have high trust in nonprofits. But that still leaves
I know. I would
43%.
I would like the number to be bigger, but at least it's the majority.
That means 43% don't have high trust. Which I don't know, that's shocking. Anyway, but only 29% express high trust in wealthy individuals engaged in philanthropy. So they trust wealthy people less.
Yes.
Because they probably think there's a capitalistic gain.
I was going to say, it's the motivation.
I would definitely think that more with political donations and certain campaigns.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't understand power and influence with nonprofits enough.
Meaning how they
Courtney?
Meaning how they take advantage of it? Or
yeah, I don't distrust on Mackenzie Scott or Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates when they're sending billions of dollars towards these nonprofits and cancer research and all these things. Is it because there's a nonprofit that's having to pay money towards a for-profit? Like,
no.
Where's the influence?
First off, I think we'd be ignorant if we didn't suggest there was a total absence of influence, right? Because if you make a huge charitable donation and it comes with strings attached, like I want this to go towards the singular thing that your organization just happens to help with.
But you hope it's help support the mission of that nonprofit.
Exactly. And so this sort of goes back to what we've also discussed, which is a gift is a gift is a gift, right? Like we'll take it. But do they have some influence as to how that gift is used? Maybe. Does that organization now have to go back to that donor and say, hi, we want to get your sign off on... That's influence, but the gift is a gift. And I think the general public is probably, they're skeptics of this type of level of giving because they assume there is some type of benefit back to them in the form of tax relief, right? And tax write-off, which then...
if you
distrust
governments more than nonprofits. If you trust nonprofits
more
than you trust government, you should be fine with the tax write-off if it's going towards a good mission.
Agreed. And they would say, I think, again, I'm just surmising as to what the general public would say, that is a tax write-off that they don't need, right? Okay, then go challenge the tax code, right? Like, that doesn't mean you should discourage them from giving these gifts. Yes, there's a secondary benefit. They're taking advantage of it. When I say taking advantage of it, meaning not taking advantage of a person, but they are exercising their right to have that benefit. They know what they're doing. They're financial advisors know what they're doing. That's very transparent, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that they should just spend the money on themselves. The skepticism is, oh, they're only doing it because X. And what you and I would argue, I think, is who cares what the motivation is?
Who cares? Yeah. And I have two counter arguments.
Do it. Let's hear it.
One is my husband, has his own business. And so when we're using his credit card, we have to be thoughtful about it's a business expense.
Yes.
Right. And when he goes and networks and takes people out to lunch and coffee or whatever for networking, expense. It's a business. It is.
Yeah.
But he also he almost feels like it's free because it's on his business credit card. Oh yeah, get whatever you want. And they can come and I'm like, or it can be at an expensive place or whatever. He just doesn't think about it. And I'm like, no, I know that you think there's a tax element here. But you're not getting the food for free. This is coming out of our pocket. And so, because I have a finance and accounting background and he has a sales comms background, he's kind of just like, whatever.
Write it off.
And I think, do a lot of people think that the tax write-off is that advantageous to them?
Yes, they do. So Ed Dickey and I had this conversation this weekend about this very topic. Yeah. And it led us to two different parodies on this whole topic, which is the most classic one, in my opinion. Ed Dickey, my husband, disagrees, is Schitt's Creek.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, it's a tax write-off.
Write-off.
Oh my gosh.
Where David is now the face of this sweet little local boutique in Schitt's Creek. And he starts buying all these things to try for the boutique. And it's like a comforter and it's a lamp. And I think there's makeup or something. I don't know. And his dad walks in because they obviously cannot afford any of this. They were living in a motel. And he's like, what is that? And David just goes, it's a tax write-off. What is that? It's a tax write-off. It's for the business. And he's like, what do you think this is? And he goes, I don't know. The write-off people, they just write it off. And he's like, you write it off of your taxes to get a lower tax. It's like, why isn't it called a tax write-off? Right? There's this whole thing. No, and then apparently there's a Seinfeld one too.
That is such a great scene.
It's such a scene.
So happy you brought it up.
All the time.
It goes perfectly with what I just said about Brett.
It's not like you don't pay for the comforter. It's not like you don't. But that's what David thought. He's like, I don't know, the write-off people.
Well, I do the finances. So my husband
You're the write-off person.
I am the write-off person. My husband uses the credit card.
He's like, write it off.
And it's like, well, it was paid. It's good. But that's what I'm saying. Do people think the tax strategy is that good?
They do. They are uneducated on it. And
that's the confusing part for me.
Well, and I think it gets quickly commingled with, we've seen this directed at our president, but the wealthiest don't pay taxes. That concept, I think it's commingled with, and there they are giving huge sums of money to further their...
That has less to do with charity and more to do with passive income.
Yes. Again, these are topics, though, 95% of, unfortunately, that they just don't
never
understand.
Understood the argument. And I guess my second counter... Yeah. Actually, no, you said two pairs. Did you want to... Oh, you said Seinfeld.
Seinfeld apparently has a very classic, which my husband is devotee of Seinfeld. And I guess Seinfeld did it first. Oh. George Costanza was like, I'm just going to write it off. And Jerry was like, do you know what that is? He's like, I know that I write it off. I
don't know why this reminds me, of course, where Michael Scott runs out and goes, I declare bankruptcy.
Declare.
He just said,
yes.
It's so good.
Oh, it's a declaration. Yeah. Yeah. These concepts and how sad that it gets commingled with giving, right? Charitable giving. But you had a second counter argument.
I do. Okay. So Dick Rathgaber, I interviewed him a few episodes back, and he is in his 90s, philanthropic icon for Austin, given $200 million, half of his estate and income.
Because he believes in community.
He believes in community.
And supporting it.
There were two drivers. One was, okay, if I took more charity, just like we were talking about the DAFs, if I give more charity now based off of this year that I had a huge sell, that does help me.
Yep.
So there was a tax incentive. It doesn't mean that he does, it just means that he has a lower tax rate, but he's net of the charitable donation. It's not as if he's not being taxed.
Right.
Okay. And then second, he does like the publicity. He's very open about that. I like the publicity. And I like when I talk about one nonprofit, also though, everyone else learns about.
That's right.
Not only me, but also the work that we're doing.
Yes, which I think is super smart. And we've talked about the anonymous giver.
Yes.
And that is a lost opportunity.
Yes.
While we respect their privacy, and a gift is a gift is a gift, it's a lost opportunity to influence in a right way as we talk about influencers in this generation.
I totally agree. And at the end of the day, if Dick Rathgaber said, you know what, I'm just going to give a little bit more to the government. We don't know where the Salvation Army would be here. Big Sisters would have gotten a lot less
What
funding.
a great organization.
What were the other ones? There's like a million. I mean, the Rathgaber Village wouldn't be what it is,
Yes.
right? They've given so much. And so to take that away from them by going, oh, did you want a tax strategy? To me is odd.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to understand this whole influence and control, and like, I don't see the connection. I do know that if you give dollars to a specific type of cancer, it's going to that cancer, right? So you have influence towards where the research is going, where the scientists are working on. I don't think I'm well off enough to really understand the influence.
I think their worry is misdirected. I just think that concern is so minuscule in terms of the need that is out there and that the need that is being addressed by this gift. And I do think like they could be quieter about it. But you're talking about it.
I talk about quietly because everyone in the philanthropic world loves to use this word quiet as an adjective. And I saw on my Facebook recently, Christian Bale has been helping quietly plan this charity community project of 12 houses. It's a really good thing for 16 years. Been doing it quietly, and quietly is bolded. And all I can think of is the only reason we know about this right now is because his team finally got a press release out. And was like, hey, we've been doing this for 16 years. Yeah. And everyone's like, whoa, he's been doing this quietly for 16 years. And there's so much love on the messages. And I'm just like, we are so tied to this. You need to be quiet. And I'm like, it's just so odd. I guess I don't get it. We need experts to explain to us the control and influence. We need to get experts on the show.
We are experts.
No, I'm asking a lot more questions than I am answering.
Yeah, no, I love talking to experts. That's how we learn. Maybe that's the next phase, is not just talking to nonprofits, which I do love that you do that, but also the experts who are behind giving, who are studying giving and the motivation behind giving and trends. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And I do want to, starting next year, have more forum like conversation in the Facebook group, because I'm really bad at Facebook. But Escape Into a Cause, the Facebook forum, have questions like this. Maybe some of our listeners are experts or know an expert, and they can start saying, this is what you haven't thought about.
Yes.
Yeah. And starting in 2026, we're going to do interviews once a month, nonprofit interview once a month. So you and I will chat once a month about a topic. Yay. And that will allow us to do more things like have forum chats and actually think about one thing we want to do is we also want to highlight more just on our social media, like when restaurants are giving to causes or part of your, so you're already going to spend money.
Yes.
We saw that with like P. Terry's and the floods.
Gosh, what a great story that was. Yes.
It was a great story. And just kind of making sure people know like, oh, if I'm going to go out to eat or I'm going to go buy something, maybe a percentage can go to that. So just thinking of different ways to connect everyone. And I'm really looking forward to next year.
It'll be a great year.
It will be, fingers crossed. Yeah. But it's been such a great year this year.
It's been so fun.
I know. I've really enjoyed our chats.
Absolutely. Thanks for doing this stuff.
All right. Thanks, Court.
Bye.
We'll be right back. Escape Into a Cause is sponsored by Nightlight Insurance Agency. You know how a nightlight gives you comfort and peace of mind in the dark? That's exactly what Nightlight aims to do. Guide you through life's uncertainties with personalized insurance for your home, auto, business, and more. Nightlight Insurance strives to provide its clients the best coverage at the best price without sacrificing on customer service. Here's what one client had to say. Nightlight was able to lower our car insurance significantly, answered all our questions, and returned our calls promptly. Very professional, would highly recommend. So it's no surprise Nightlight has a 5-star rating on Google. Nightlight also makes this podcast possible by covering production costs so all other sponsorship dollars and gifts can go directly to nonprofits and volunteers. And as part of their mission to give back, Nightlight proudly donates $1,000 to every nonprofit we interview. If you are a sponsor interested in giving back to our podcast, please find us on social media and let us know. Nightlight is an agency focused on personalized service and giving back. See how much you could save and how good it feels to have peace of mind by visiting nightlightinsurance.com. We're escaping into Ronald McDonald House of Central Texas, and I have the Chief Operating Officer, Kristin Coulter, here with me.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Kristin.
I'm so glad I'm able to be here and connect with you today and share about Ronald McDonald House.
I'm excited as well. Tell us, what does Ronald McDonald House do?
Yeah, we have a special mission. In fact, we've been in Central Texas for 40 years, and we really have a unique opportunity to come alongside families when they have a baby or a child that has experienced a diagnosis of critical illness or injury. And once those parents receive that news, most often they are going to travel wherever they need to go to get the medical care for their kiddos. And that's where Ronald McDonald House steps in. We come in, we walk alongside them, we provide them all of the comforts of home, all of the resources so they can focus solely on their child. And what that looks like is we provide a house, an area where they can come rest, have 3 meals a day, warm meals prepared for them with love from our volunteers, laundry, family support services to walk alongside them from a, I would say, mental, emotional journey, and then just being in community. They're with other families that are going through the same journey that they are. So there's this opportunity for them to form bonds with other families and walk along together with each other as they're embarking on really unprecedented territories and environments, because nothing about the hospital is normal.
Yeah, I can only imagine that it's so important to have others around you that are going through similar experiences.
It is, because no parent wakes up and goes, oh, wow, I know exactly how to handle this. I know, how to navigate it. Everything about being in those hospital hallways and in those rooms is foreign. You've got beeping noises you've never heard before. You've got medical terminology being thrown out at you as the medical care team is updating you on the situation that your child is currently in. And it's scary. And it's a place where no parent should have to encounter. But when they do, having other families that they see familiar faces in the hospital or they see familiar faces in the Ronald McDonald House, it brings a level of comfort.
Yeah. And when we're hearing about, say, the loneliness epidemic that was announced in 2021, not everyone has a really large support network.
They don't. In fact, so many of our families, they're coming internationally, they're coming from other states, they're coming even just from 30, 40, 60 miles away from where we're located, and they're leaving behind families. So leaving behind their friend support system. And so that's where Ronald McDonald House is, that system. We're that wraparound emotional care support that they so need during these times.
It's really beautiful. And Ronald McDonald House has such a great reputation. And so I'm really happy that y'all are there and creating that support. Of course, you're Ronald McDonald House of Central Texas.
We are.
What does that region look like? What are the hospitals that you serve?
We have partnerships in the Austin surrounding areas as well as Bryan College Station. And so some of our hospital partners include Dell Children's Hospital, Texas Children's, Ascension Seton, St. David's, St. Joseph's, and Baylor Scott and White. We also serve other families that are receiving, I would say, specialty care, such as at Napa Center and other treatment centers as well. But primarily, we're serving families that are being seen within NICU units or pediatric hospitals.
Great. How long have y'all been around? And can you provide some programs and numbers for us?
Yeah, most definitely. This year, we're celebrating 40 years in Central Texas, which is absolutely amazing. The imprint that this mission has had in the Austin community and Bryan College Station has been far-reaching. And on average, we serve over 1,400 families. In fact, 2025, we're going to probably surpass that and be closer to 1,500. And we have 4 main signature programs. Our first program that most, I would say, folks are familiar with is our Ronald McDonald House, the brick and mortar of our house. Currently, the location that we have here in Austin is adjacent to Dell Children's Hospital, and we have 30 rooms in that house, and it is at full capacity. Sadly, we have a wait list, and we have families waiting anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to receive a room and access to all the resources. What we have, secondly, in our family rooms, which is another program, is these are family rooms that are, I would say, mini versions of our house located in some of our hospital partners next to the NICU units. And these have mini kitchen, they have access to laundry, and then in some cases we have sleeping rooms where the families can stay for a couple nights while their child is admitted into the NICU. Our third program is our Happy Wheels cart. And this is where we really take all the resources that we have, condense it into what we call our hospitality Happy Wheels cart. And this gets pushed around all the hospital units, and we're able to bring the comfort of home right to the bedside. So this looks like toiletries, warm blankets, socks, toys for the kids, coloring books, and actually warm meals as well. So many of our families don't have the financial means to be able to pop even into the cafeteria at the hospitals. And so for us to be able to provide a meal that sometimes is their first meal of that day or for the duration of that stay, just because of the financial burden it has when you do have a child hospitalized.
And you said those are happy cards?
Happy Wheels cards.
Happy Wheels cards. Yes. Definitely sounds like a good volunteer opportunity.
Love our volunteers. They sign up and can't wait to start their shifts on the Happy Wheels card program. In fact, we have so many volunteers that are regular volunteers. They come back every year and they've been serving us for many years. So it's I would say one of those favorite opportunities. But yeah, lots of volunteers definitely show up and are amazing ambassadors for us in those hospitals.
Okay, so we have individual rooms, we have family rooms, we have Happy Meals.
Happy Wheels cart.
Happy Wheels cart.
I know.
I want to say Happy Meals.
I know. And then our fourth is our family support services. And this is really in collaboration with what we traditionally had, which was a Healing Hearts program. And this program is led by a licensed professional counselor that we have on site. And she provides individual, parent, sibling, teen support, various activities such as art, music. And it just is an opportunity to have someone connect with that is a listening ear to help families when they have no one else to talk to and they're experiencing a lot of emotional distress. And in addition to that program, we offer bereavement support as well. Many people do not know that Ronald McDonald House will provide financial support if a family experiences a loss of a child, and will provide burial and cremation support for those families. In addition, we have our Memory Stone Garden as well. So once a child does pass, we have an opportunity to honor them by having a stone engraved with their name, and it's placed in our memory garden at our main house next to Dale Children's.
For people who have children, it's very easy to understand how important this is.
It's huge. It's huge because you never know if it could impact you. You never know if it could impact a family member or a friend. And just knowing that this resource is here, it's really critical.
I just think about with my children, it's the smallest thing, but my son, when he was 3.5, we started seeing one of his eyes go cross-eyed, right? And find out he has strabismus. And it's completely gone now.
Good.
But it wasn't even, there was no question. It was just a vision issue, right?
Yeah, right.
And the toll it took on us to just think, oh my gosh, is he going to need surgery? Is he going to need glasses, right? It's so small in the scheme of things when you're talking about these families that are in Ronald McDonald House. I just can't imagine. Anyway, my heart goes out for them. And I think anyone with children, that's the case. And without children, I'm sure you can put yourself in their shoes.
Oh, most definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so 4 signature programs. And 40 years in, that's very exciting.
We're actually opening up our second house in 2026 too. That's a real milestone moment for Ronald McDonald House, Central Texas. In fact, in about 8 weeks, we're going to be welcoming families at Texas Children's Hospital, the North Austin campus. And we've had the opportunity to partner with that hospital and build out a Ronald McDonald House on their 5th floor. And so families will literally be steps away from their children when they go to the Ronald McDonald House to rest, sleep, grab a warm meal, take a hot shower, do some laundry. And so we just couldn't be more thrilled for this opportunity and for us to really have a footprint in the North Austin market, being able to serve so many of those communities up there and the families coming from miles and miles away.
How many rooms does that serve?
It'll be 9 rooms.
9 additional rooms.
Yes.
That's really exciting. So it's construction in progress right now.
Oh, it is. Yesterday I toured it. I was wearing a hard hat and it's amazing. Every day they're moving very quickly. It's coming to life. And the team that's on it, the general contractors, the team at TCH, all the subcontractors, everyone is excited because they believe in the mission. And so I think there's a lot of heart going into this build, which is amazing.
Yeah. Okay. When does that open?
January 2026.
Oh, it is around the corner.
Yeah, it is around the corner. I'll have to make sure to get you an invite. You have to be there.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we're planning on a housewarming, open to the community, our donors, our volunteers, partners. We want everyone to be able to come see it, experience it. And hopefully our goal would be early February, we welcome that first family.
Oh, amazing. Okay. And I want to be there. I also know, we've talked about this. I'm in Young Men's Service League, the Mom's Son.
Yes.
And y'all have some YMSL members that come through, some young men and their moms that help volunteer. We'll get to that in the volunteer opportunity part of this so that everyone knows how to show up.
Yes, definitely.
But very exciting. And 1,400, almost 1,500 families per year. That's incredible. But hundreds of families on the wait list.
Yeah, we have on any given week, we've got anywhere from 15 to 25 families that are waiting to get into the Ronald McDonald House. It's hard to say no. It's hard to tell them it may be another 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, especially when so many of them do not have the means to afford a hotel. They don't have the means to drive back and forth hours each day. In fact, we have oftentimes families sleeping in their vehicles or sleeping in the hospital rooms next to their child, but that's not restful sleep. And these families need to be able to bring their best selves into those rooms when there's big critical decisions needing to be made. And so being able to have restful sleep and a place of respite and just being able to take care of yourself is really important.
When you're mentioning this and you're saying that they have to sometimes maybe sleep in their car or they don't have anywhere to go, not only are you providing them lodging, but you're also providing them meals. And I know it's been worth a lot in terms of financial savings, right?
Yes, over 2.6 million last year. We were able to support families through our Meals from the Heart program and Lunches with Love program. In fact, those are led by our amazing volunteers. We have volunteers every day at the house, anywhere from 15 to 20 per day, just beautiful people that come in through those doors, and they prepare breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They bring corporations in, the teams come in for team building and pack up lunches with love. So sack lunches that then are put on the Happy Wheels cart and pushed through the hospital units and given to families and patients. And we really can't do it without our volunteers. They really are the backbone of our organization.
Okay. And beginning in January, we'll have that additional location. So how many locations in total that people can show up to volunteer?
Well, we have the 2 houses, and then we have the multiple family rooms throughout Austin and Bryan College Station. And so really there is a place for everyone in this community to be able to serve families and show up and just love on them.
Okay, so volunteer opportunity is fantastic. Sounds like a lot of fun and that you'll get a lot from that.
Yes.
And then signature events. You'll do have a few. Do you mind just sharing a few of those throughout the year that people can show up for Ronald McDonald House?
Definitely. So we have our bandana ball every fall. That is one of our largest fundraising events that definitely helps support, I would say, a significant amount of our program operations annually. We have our Starlight Affair in Bryan College Station. That's another signature event. We have our house event, Friends of the House, which is our kind of young professionals, and they're amazing leaders that are up and coming and just really have a heart to serve our families and our mission. And then we have our Champions Brunch in the spring. And so we have multiple opportunities for individuals to get involved, to come experience a great time with a lot of other philanthropic community ambassadors. And it's a wonderful time to raise money for our families.
Okay, and follow Ronald McDonald House of Central Texas. I'm sure you post all this on your socials.
We do.
Yeah, and we're going to be getting better at this at Escape Into a Cause. So if you start following us, we're also going to try and share all these events. So that's great. And then I know y'all have a couple of dozen full-time employees across Central Texas, but really it's hundreds of volunteers that show up that make this happen.
Correct, hundreds. And, we have house volunteers. So if you're not maybe comfortable pushing the cart or being in a medical environment, the house it feels like home. And so all the various activities that you could think of that need to happen to make a house run, we're looking for volunteers all the time to help us make that happen. And even more than just serving in that capacity, it's a warm smile. It's that hug oftentimes that those families need that mean the most.
It sounds like you're going to get the most long-term engagement from volunteers and donors if they show up to the house, because it sounds like that's where the magic happens.
Oh, it is. Well, you see the mission in action, right? You get to see the families, you get to meet the staff, you get to meet other volunteers, and it really is a beautiful community.
Okay, and since we're on audio podcast, meaning we can't we can't show you the magic in any way.
Right.
Let's dive into some stories. First, I know that your son went through the Ronald McDonald House. Can you share your experience?
Yeah. So Owen, when he was 4 years old, he came down with a virus, which led to him unfortunately going into cardiac arrest in the emergency room at Dell Children's about 6 years ago. That led him to a situation where he was in a critical state on life support in the ICU for many days and weeks. That team they were amazing. It was led by Dr. Frazier's team, and they saved Owen's life. And during that time, Darren, my husband, and my other 2 children, Owen's twin Hudson and my daughter Madeline, we were able to stay at the Ronald McDonald House. We live about an hour away. And so being able to just walk across the street to be with Owen during the day or at any point he needed us or the medical care team needed us, and then being able to go home and rest and have a warm meal. It was the most beautiful gift that could have been given to us during that time, because you're in a state of mind where it's hard to function. It's hard to keep everything together, and knowing that like your household can be easily managed in that Ronald McDonald House with all the resources that are wrapped around you. It was amazing. In fact, it left an imprint on me so much. That's why I'm now serving in this capacity, because I really feel called to give back.
And Owen is 12 now.
11. But almost 12. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's doing great. He really is. He's in 6th grade. He's on the fishing team at school. He plays golf with his brother. He's my little walking miracle. And so thankful that we had really a community wrap around us during that time.
I think about this with so many other organizations that are providing some basic services, what we would consider basic services that are just so meaningful. And I think of, the Junior League does their FIT program. We know that there's a lot of food pantry programs, everything.
Yes.
I think there's basic needs, for example, that children need to go be productive people in this world in learning. In other words, a child is not going to learn with an empty stomach.
Right.
So I feel like that's our responsibility as a community to go into that's happening.
Yes.
And I can't imagine when a parent is in this situation, or a caretaker is in this situation, a guardian, and they aren't probably taking care of themselves.
It's hard to.
Yeah.
You want to give everything to your child. And there's moments where you're completely depleted. There's moments where you do feel alone. And even with the community feeling at Ronald McDonald House, when you go into that hospital room day in and day out, it's this feeling of just uncertainty, and you don't have all the answers, and you want to help, but you can't, because you're at the mercy of trusting that the medical care team is guiding you and obviously treating your child the best that they know how. And it's just, you feel helpless at times. You really do. So having the ability, like you said, to have the resources that you might forget about, like you forget about eating because you're just focused on your child, but you can't function without food. You can't function without sleep.
You can't be there for your child in the way that they need you.
Exactly. Yeah. So this,
and your other children. Right.
Yeah, you've got to be present for them as well. And many times the siblings that are staying at the house, they're confused. They're like, why did we leave home? Is this our new home? And they're going through a lot too. And that's where I think our family support services has just been an absolute blessing for our chapter in this last year, is that Stacy, who serves in that lead capacity, is able to just invest time into those siblings so that they have the means to express their emotions, their feelings that they have as well, because those little people have a lot of emotions, and sometimes those emotions may come out in different ways, right? And so having play support, art support, music support. In fact, we're so blessed to have so many community nonprofits that actually come alongside Ronald McDonald House to make this happen as well.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Most definitely. JoyRx is one nonprofit that we are just amazed at what they provide. They come monthly to our house. They set up in our big living room, and they provide music support for our families and siblings. And they'll play songs, they'll put out musical instruments, because music is healing. And sometimes being able to escape to a song that just makes you happy and brings joy allows for those families to start that healing process. And so that is one amazing partner. We also have Hand to Hold. They primarily focus on the NICU population, but they come and meet in many of our family rooms to provide support to the NICU parents and caregivers in the hospitals, providing a lot of that guidance, especially being a first-time mom or dad and you've got your baby in the NICU. It is scary. And so being able to have licensed counselors help you navigate that journey and that experience just is beautiful. I could go on and on. We have so many partners. It's been amazing to see how we've aligned, and the collaboration is been able to create such a greater impact for our families.
I think music is so healing, and dancing. I recently volunteered at the Junior League for Christmas Affair, kids pajama night.
Oh, fun.
It was fun. And just watching all the kids dance and play. My boys are 13 and 17, so they've moved on from that, I don't care that anybody's watching, and they just do their thing, right? They're now too self-aware, all of us are. But just watching that almost brought tears to my eyes, because it was just, it's so beautiful to just watch, especially children.
Yeah. Let kids be kids, right?
Let kids be kids. Okay. Did you also want to talk about Dr. Fraser
Yeah.
and the international support?
We have so many subspecialty and specialty medical care teams now in Austin. In fact, just in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years, Austin is now, I would say, a hub of world-class pediatric physicians and specialty care teams, which is also why we're seeing a wait list at Ronald McDonald House, because families are coming from all over to receive this world-class care. In fact, when Dr. Fraser at Dell Children's joined a few years ago, he has created this amazing cardiac and cardiology department, which provides so many families, even before their child is born, they're able to diagnose and be able to treat those babies minutes after delivery at Dell Children's. In that particular program, we see families returning year after year because oftentimes if they are diagnosed with a congenital heart disease or in heart failure, those children go through various different surgeries over the duration of their development. And so we will see families return regularly, which warms our heart because we see a familiar face coming back. It's hard to see them having to go through it again and again, but knowing that they're in the hands of Dr. Fraser and his team gives us all comfort, knowing that he loves those children like his own. And so we've just seen doctors like him, and there's so many other doctors I could share about what they're doing here in Austin. It's just amazing to know that families don't have to leave Austin anymore to receive the medical care that they may need for their child. It's right here in Austin at any one of these amazing hospitals.
Dr. Fraser sounds very special, and happy that you'll have those services and that expertise here in Austin. We're so lucky. I do want to turn the mic to you specifically about some good brag. So for those that don't know, I make every guest say a good brag, which is something that they've done that they're proud of recently. Kristin?
I wouldn't say what I'm going to share is a brag. It's more of just, it's honestly a blessing that I was able to start and co-found a nonprofit called Hero Camp with a local nonprofit, L4 Cares. Over the last few years, just coming out of our hospital stay and navigating Owen's medical journey, we've been in many opportunities to connect with so many families going through similar types of experiences. And we felt it was important to create the kind of post-hospital stay experience so those families aren't alone when they go home. And they have an opportunity to stay connected to other families that they can call upon. And we create basically a 2-day, just, I would say, party. It's a party. Like we want them to escape the needles and the infusions and all the like medical appointments just for those 2 days and just be kids, be families. And so we provide them with access to either a retreat at a ranch, or most recently we did it at Kalahari Resort in Round Rock. And I would say I'm so thankful that we've been able to have the means to support and collaborate with partners in the community to deliver this experience for families.
Okay, and that's a new nonprofit organization that you and your co-founder started this year?
About a year ago.
About a year ago.
Yep.
And what is it called again?
Hero Camp.
Hero Camp. So go check that one out as well. Okay, and that is a good brag. You're being very humble. I know, saying it's not a brag, but I do think, especially women, so women, and Courtney and I have dived into this in some of our topics, that women tend to go towards a lot of, say, social work, education, careers that are probably undervalued, but provide so much impact, right?
Yeah, so true.
And I think women are also quiet about their wins. And so I think the brag is used as kind of facetious. I don't know, but I just think that especially women and in the work that you're doing, I think that is a huge good brag.
Thank you.
So let's shift gears and allow listeners to earn quote unquote good bragging rights. And how do they show up for Ronald McDonald House?
So there's a myriad of ways they can show up. Volunteer is the first one. I would say the easiest is if you love to cook and you've got a bunch of friends or family that love to get behind that stove and chop up vegetables and follow a recipe, we would love to have you come cook at the house as part of our Meals from the Heart program. I would say the next is Lunches with Love. If you're a business organization and you have, I would say, regular team building opportunities or just have the desire to serve the community, we want to invite you into the house and participate in whether it be lunches with love or a variety of different household, I would say, tasks that we need large groups to support us on. Those are two really easy ways to get connected and doesn't require like a long-term commitment. The other way is to become a regular volunteer. This is where you'll go through a formal orientation. You'll be trained on all of our programs, and then we will place you where you feel you are most fit to support and serve our family. So that might be at the house, it may be Happy Wheels, it may be serving in the family rooms, checking families in and out. And so I think those are two great ways to get connected immediately. In fact, just with us coming to the end of the year, we've got our Be the Light campaign, and we have a new family support club as well, which allows for you to become a monthly donor. As little as $10, as much as $100 a month. That is also another great way to donate your resources to support families. It's great. Right now, we're offering a $25 Kirby Lane gift card if you sign up for our family support club. You get a t-shirt mailed to you, and we're really hoping we can build that program. And as part of that program, you'll get regular communication. You'll get the inside scoop of what's going on at Ronald McDonald House, invites to our events and different activities. And definitely want to encourage folks, if you have the means, to consider the Family Support Club.
Yeah. And kudos to Kirby Lane for partnering.
Oh, they're amazing. They're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. We love to see businesses show up. And just go to RMHC-CTX.org.
That's it.
So that stands for Ronald McDonald House Charities.
Central Texas.
Oh, yeah. So RMHC-CTX for centraltexas.org. And you can sign up there.
Yes.
Okay.
Can't wait.
And so you can show up, of course, volunteering. So many opportunities. You can show up by donating. Everyone should donate. Reoccurring donations are the best. And a wish list.
Yes, our wish list. So every month we have a wish list that is ever changing because needs at the house change, right? So we may be low on laundry detergent. We may be low on pantry items. And so on our website, we've got our wish list. It's Amazon. It's easy. You just log in and select how many items you'd like to donate, and those show up right at the house. And so those are either they stay at the house or we distribute them to our family rooms in the hospitals. But that is a quick, easy way. Who doesn't have Amazon Prime right now, right? There's lots of great deals going on. And so this is a great time to stock up and help the house get replenished for the coming year.
Okay, and you can just find that on the Ronald McDonald House Central Texas website.
Yes.
Perfect.
Get involved. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Well, that sounds good. Anything else, Kristin?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I think that this is an amazing mission. So many people recognize who we are and what we do, but they may not know that full scope that I was able to share and the full reach that we have for families. And also, just if you're a family needing to access these resources, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We've got all of our contact information on the Ronald McDonald House website, and we'd be more than happy to connect you to the teams that we have at the hospitals to see if we can't support you in time of need.
Well, Kristin, thanks so much. I've learned a lot. I actually didn't, as much as I knew Ronald McDonald House, I didn't know to the extent, and what y'all are doing is really incredible. And thank you so much for meeting with me and chatting.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. That is a wrap on today's episode. I love sitting down with Kristin. She brings such clarity, steadiness, and heart to her role. It is obvious she's running Ronald McDonald House of Central Texas with the same level of rigor you'd expect from a top-tier for-profit company. So you know that when you donate your dollars, it's not going only towards a good cause, but it is being ran by incredibly smart, passionate people. If you want to show up for Ronald McDonald House of Central Texas, remember, there's many meaningful ways to give. You make a one-time or reoccurring donation. You sponsor a family for a night. You provide in-kind support. You can give through workplace programs, and you can give planned giving and legacy gifts. There's so many programs and so many ways to give. Just go and explore all the options at rmhc-ctx.org/ways-to-give. Or just Google Ronald McDonald House of Central Texas and look at Get Involved. As we close out the year, I want to thank every single person who has listened, whether on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or even YouTube, where the full audio is available. Before the year ends, please take a moment to look back at all the nonprofits and leaders we've featured. If you see something that catches your eye that you'd like to learn more about, go to that episode, listen to the guest, and hear more about that nonprofit and determine whether you want to show up for them. Find the cause that speaks to you. And you can set yourself up for a meaningful 2026. Maybe that's adding a nonprofit to your giving portfolio or starting your first reoccurring donation. And unlike the social media commenters who critique every big donor on earth, I will be your biggest supporter. If any episode this year inspires you, email me at stephanie@escapeintoacause.com. I would genuinely love to hear from you. Feedback on how we can do better on our episodes, or if there was a nonprofit that spoke to you and that you enjoyed, please let us know. And before I go, important news for next year. We are shaking things up. Starting in 2026, nonprofit interviews will drop on the third Thursday of each month. If you can't remember that, third Thursday, just hit subscribe and let your app do the work. We may air additional conversations with nonprofit experts or philanthropists, but our primary focus will be one featured nonprofit every month on our audio platforms. And what are we going to do with all this extra time on our hands? We are finally going to focus on how to more effectively spread the word. We will be expanding our social media presence, finally investing a little bit more there. We're going to highlight restaurants, retail, events, and everyday ways you can support nonprofits while living your life. So if there's a restaurant near you that's giving 20% of their proceeds to a nonprofit, you'll hear about it, and you just have to follow Escape Into a Cause on Facebook or Instagram. And if you're a nonprofit and you have events or you have other ways people can show up for you, email us. It will get to the right hands, whether it's me or someone on the team, and we will make sure to highlight you on our social media. Thank you to Nightlight Insurance Agency for sponsoring this show and for your $40,000 in donations this year to our guests. An unbelievable commitment to giving back. Thank you to Todd Thompson for your incredible editing and mixing skills. We praise you. We appreciate you. Ashlyn O'Neill for digital content management. Things would sometimes come in last minute and you always got it done. And Corey McCain at Just Push Record Studios, thank you for giving us your beautiful space and always making things work. Graham Thompson and a little bit Jaden Dyer, of course, which is my son. I think he did a lot of just sitting around and being Graham's biggest cheerleader, but they created the lovely music this year that we used. And of course, the lovely Courtney Dickey. I could not have had this much fun without you. You are such a positive person in my life. You are my neighbor, and I really could not have done this without you sitting in my side at the beginning of every episode. What a year. I couldn't have done it without you all. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Whatever you celebrate, I hope it's filled with rest, connection, and joy. If you're traveling, be safe. Enjoy the end of the year with the people you love. And we'll see you in January, third Thursday, when we escape into a cause.